everyone. Jenny here. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. Give me just a second. I'm just getting myself organized here a little bit. Mostly I'm getting my glasses because, I'm getting to be that age where I need glasses. Well, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. My name's Jenny Surwett, and I have the pleasure of being here with you today and helping host and MC today's event with Trina and the team. Before I introduce our team, though, I wanted to share something incredible with you all. This webinar was originally, we had a goal of meeting with 100 people, and we've had over 1,000 people sign up and register. Now we know that not everyone will show up, but we're blown away by the response. So whether you're watching the live or tuning in on a replay, we're so glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. And while everyone's getting settled into the Zoom room, let's warm up the Q&A chat box with a couple rapid fire check-ins. Okay, are you ready? So who's in the room? We want to know about you. What's your name and where are you tuning in from? Warm up the Q&A with what's your name and where are you tuning in from? All right. Awesome. Wow. Tampa, Phoenix, Arizona, Louisiana, Everett, woohoo, Iowa, Indiana, Arkansas. Oh, Laszlo's here. Laszlo from Washington's here. California, Idaho, Florida. Y'all, I'm so excited. This is amazing. All right, so let's see what else. Do you have a dog with you by your side? Do you have a dog prospect already? Let's go ahead and drop an emoji. Let's see. Drop a heart if you have a dog. I see people. All right. Canada, and but you live in Lake Stevens. Awesome. Welcome. Georgia, South Carolina, Oso, Washington, Virginia, New Orleans. So cool. Welcome, everybody. All right. So raise a hand if you have a dog by your side. It looks like maybe the emojis aren't working properly. There we go. Look at that. Wow, look at everybody that has all the dogs by their sides. Raise your paw for your dog. So cool. Welcome, everybody. So glad that you're here. Centralia, Florida, a Frenchie. Woohoo. Edmonds, Washington, Colorado. Awesome. Okay, no emojis. That's all right. You can type in the Q&A. But at a certain point, I will ask y'all to refrain from typing in there and just have the questions in there. So we can make sure that we can answer everyone's questions. We don't have the chat feature enabled, so we only have the Q&A feature enabled so that we can have the most efficient time today. So I'm really excited to see all the responses here and everyone tuning in right here locally in Snohomish. Amazing. Wisconsin, New York, New Jersey. Awesome. All right. Well, I want to be honoring of everybody's time. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce the team here at A Canine Experience. We're a local uh, women-owned small business, which is what drew me to the team in the first place. And how I found the team was through my own service dog training journey. So thank the Google for connecting me with this amazing team. And for over 30 years, A Canine Experiences excuse me, I'm getting a little emotional. But if you know me, that's normal. So God made me with a big heart, and that's okay. Um, for over 30 years, A Canine Experience has been helping handlers build life-changing, real-world partnerships. And I have my service dog, Mowgli, here with me right now, with their dogs. What makes A Canine Experience so unique is our women-led, multi-generational family legacy. Today, A Canine Experience is actively co-led by 3 generations of master trainers and behavioral specialists. And our 4th generation is already in training right now through 4-H. A quick look at the team who has built the blueprint that you will be learning from today is Trina R. Eddy, CEO and co-owner, master service dog trainer, and published author of Lead or Be Led 2.0. Trina brings 30 plus years of hands-on experience translating complex working dog behaviors into simple, low energy steps for real world handlers like yourself. And then next we have Andrea Kelly, co-owner and senior trainer who has spent decades shaping working dog temperaments and guiding handlers through complex behavioral transformations. We also have Autumn Bear, co-owner of A Canine Experience and Unleash Boutique. Autumn grew up in the dog training world, evolving from a 4-H student, and now she's a 4-H leader. She specializes in task work and handler education. Jessica Bear, co-owner and trainer, represents our family's deep commitment to canine welfare, rescue rehabilitation, and specialized task development. And again, there's myself. I'm kind of behind the scenes and helping Trina with a lot of the business and marketing ventures here. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Trina and we'll get going.
Great. Thank you, Jenny. Jenny makes everything pretty. Um, let's see. For some reason, there we go. It's being a little temperamental over here on my presentation slide, but I just thank you everybody for being here. The response has been overwhelmingly amazing, and I'm just really excited that there are so many opportunities for us to help people with their service dog journeys. So I just want to start a little bit so you know if you're in the right place or not. So if you have been considering training a service dog, if you already have a dog and you think it would be a good prospect, or your life has changed and you think that your dog could be helpful for you, that is definitely, you're in the right place. If you're considering getting a dog to train, you don't have one yet, and you are considering it, but you don't know where to start, you don't know how to select one, you are also in the right place. If you've been recommended that a service dog might be able to help you with your daily life, but you're overwhelmed by where to start, who to listen to, and how to move forward with that, we are here to help you. And last but not least, if you're a dog trainer, or if you're someone who works with people with disabilities or knows somebody who could benefit from a service dog, even the people that are participating in our program, we have a solution for you as well. So if you fit into any of those four categories, you are in the right place. Let Okay, we'll start with the affiliate program. So as we're going through the following slides that really talk about the program itself, I just wanted to start with our affiliate program that pays people to refer into the program. So you can keep that in back of mind as we go through it. The commissions range from 10 to 20%. We have a sliding scale. As you make more, you grow into a higher tier. And there's like a link, and there's lots of ways for us to track that so that you can get paid on your referrals. So if you're a dog trainer who doesn't do service dog trainer, but you have inquiries about it, or maybe you have an in-person program, like we actually have an in-person program in Snohomish, Washington, but not everybody can come to Snohomish, right? That's a lot of why we started this program itself, is so that we can reach a lot more people. Um, so maybe people come to you, but they're just outside your geographic area. That's a good, good candidate for the affiliate program. Maybe you're participating in this program and you know lots of other people that could benefit from it, and you want to get yours paid for. Well, you could actually become an affiliate and through referrals get your own courses paid for. So there's a lot of options. And so as we're going through this, just keep in mind, we are doing a launch bonus. So if you join us as an affiliate, then we're going to give you a permanent 5% increase in your rate. So rather than starting at 10, you would start at 15% for every referral. So this is something, if you're interested in, we're not going to spend a lot of time on it today, but if it's something you're interested in, definitely follow up with me and we can talk more about that option. Okay, let's get into it here. So the traditional path for acquiring a service dog is broken. If any of you have gone and looked for your option service dog for a service dog, if you're looking for a fully trained service dog, that can take 1 to 4 years being on a wait list, and not everybody qualifies, right? There's not enough dogs out there, enough people producing service dogs for everybody to be able to get one. So they have to be very selective, and it can take a long time. Even if you go and you spend the money to buy your own service dog, the dogs available out there are limited, and it can cost upwards of $25,000 to $40,000 to buy one that's already trained. So that's limiting to very many of us. I know it would definitely be limiting to me. And then, of course, there's what we just talked about in the affiliate for a moment, the regional availability. Like many areas don't have a dog trainer that works with service dogs for you to even go to. And so that makes it very limited for people to be able to have access to even training their own service dog with any reliable coaching and guidance. And that really right there is what brought us into building this program. So that leads you into trying to figure it all out alone. And there's a lot of conflicting information out there. You get onto YouTube or Facebook and you see lots of arguments. You see a lot of people, there's a lot of different ways to approach training. And it's not necessarily that one way's right and one way's wrong. The challenge is like people, not every dog learns and performs the same way. And none of the online programs are going to be specific to you and your dog's needs, right? We all have unique needs. We all have unique challenges, and the dogs all have their own unique personalities. So we need to be able to look at what's going to work best for you and your dog. And that's not just, I always joke in our family is like, we don't live in a box. If we do, there's no walls to it. So, anyway, so the other challenge is there's just not a clear path, right? It kind of goes back to the conflicting information. So you're trying this, you're trying that, you're making a lot of mistakes. You don't have anybody kind of looking and seeing what you're doing to see where you might be, going, awry. And there's just not a clear path. I see a lot of people starting, doing medical alert dog training, and they don't even know how to collect a proper sample, right? um and they're not really sure what they should start with. And so that really leads to a lot of mistakes that could be avoided if you had somebody there helping you along the way. Of course, a lot of people just get stuck at the fear of what ifs. Like, what if you do it wrong? So you don't get started, right? Or you're concerned about what people are going to say in public, or you're not, um, you know, comfortable with conflict. If somebody challenges you, you don't know what your rights are. The concern of not working, and that's what we're here for: coaching, helping you build your confidence, educating yourself so that you can empower yourself with your dog to live a better, more fulfilled life. This isn't meant to be like a training session today. We're talking about the programs, but I just couldn't in good conscience have all these people here that are starting training a dog and not at least address some of these most common mistakes that people make, because I see it every day, and they're really simple things. Well, some of them are more simple than others, but they're things that can be really influence the um your success in training your service dog. So first and foremost is starting with the wrong dog. Um, all the training in the world cannot fix a dog that has poor genetics or is just not predisposed to service work. A lot of dogs, like, they're anxious in public, they're reactive in public, those types of things. And yes, we can help train the dog. We can help them do better. However, we can't totally change who they are, their underlying personality, right? So starting with the right dog. I am going to pause here because I did realize that Jenny, the affiliate link program, could you go ahead and put that link in the chat for anybody who might be interested in going and checking out that affiliate program? I forgot to have you do that when we were on that slide, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
the chat is not enabled, so perhaps we can distribute it in another way.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Well, I don't know. This is my first time doing a webinar. We've always just done it on Zoom where the chat was there, and I didn't see an enable thing. So something to learn on my end when it comes to webinars. You
yeah.
can't put it in where the questions are.
No, I only have an option to answer them.
Oh,
So, and we wanted everybody to, um, you know, not be distracted and be with us in the presentation. But
yeah.
yeah,
All
I
right.
don't see a place where I can put the link.
All right. Well, something to look into at the next time we do this. We'll get it to you. Okay,
Okay.
so back to the mistakes. I just realized I had meant to do that, so no worries. So one of the other common mistakes is delaying exposure. A lot of people want to wait till their dog's fully vaccinated to get them out and exposed in the world. And I understand there are definitely some risks that need to be mitigated in that. But delaying starting your dog in training too long, you will miss a really huge opportunity. The dogs go through a socialization window that ends around 12 to 14 weeks. It kind of depends on what studies you follow. And so that first 5 weeks or so to 12 to 14 weeks is super critical for learning. The things the dogs learn in that time period will stick with them. And we want them to get accustomed to as many different sights, sounds, smells, people, all the things as possible in that early time, because what we really want is to make the strange things in their life normal things in life. That's one of my other things. Make the strange normal. That's a big part of dog training. Another big mistake people make is discouraging behaviors we want later. A super common one is retrieval work. If we're doing light mobility, we want the dogs to do retrieval, carrying things, picking up dropped objects, those types of things. Then we want to be really careful how we handle them when they are younger and they're picking up all the things we're not ready or don't want them to pick up, right? So it's common they grab their shoe, we're like, no, no, no. And if we do too much of that, no, 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 suppressive stuff, they're not going to feel empowered to do that when we want them to do it as a task later on. So it's really important that we mold and shape those behaviors that they're doing naturally that we're going to want to build on later. Another really common one that I see is the dogs being pushy, pawing at you, nudging at you. Well, we use nudging, pushing, pawing for medical alert dog, so as the way to get your attention. So we don't want to totally suppress that behavior. What we want to do is build it into when and how we want it done. So that's one of the big ones. And then the last, but definitely not least, maybe this might have been the first one, is misunderstanding what socialization is. We get a lot of people who come in and they're taking the dog to the dog park for socialization. And playing with other dogs is a part of socialization. It is in of itself not socialization. Socialization is giving them positive exposures in new places, again, getting them around different sights, sounds, smells, weird things, all sorts of different things. And we want them to be interacting with you, right? A lot of what we do early on is we just take the dogs out and play in new places, right? It's about me and you, right? Especially when we're talking about service dogs, because we need that really deep connection. So we want to build that over the need to get attention from other people and other dogs, right? We want to be the center of their attention. And we do a lot of that through play. Um, all right, let's take a pause and go ahead and put a couple questions in the chat. At least we can answer those if we can't do the other chat piece, and then we'll move on.
Great. So we've had a lot of involvement in the first few minutes. I'm working my way, and I see Autumn working her way through some of um, the questions that are in here. Someone has a Great Dane named Blade.
Solid name.
Yeah, right. That's a good name. So Nancy has a question. She says that her dog became reactive after they were almost attacked by another dog on their golf cart. Um, I don't know. Is this dog a service dog candidate? Um, it's a Staffordshire Terrier Lab mix, 8-year-old. She had never used to be reactive. Um, are there parts of the program that can help people work through things like that, Trina?
That's a real frustrating one, especially when it is your service dog. But in general, that's frustrating when that happens. It just depends. That would be an evaluation situation. So if you're not sure if your dog's a good service dog candidate, we do offer an evaluation that can help us determine that. So I wouldn't be sure without having more information. But we are very experienced in behavior problems and stuff, and it might be something that could be worked through. Um, I mean, we can always do things to improve it, but will it be able to be worked through enough to be able to handle the public access? Again, that's, that we would have to determine that through an evaluation and see
Yep.
where we're at. Yep.
Okay, Stephanie
Okay.
has a question. She says, I have a German Shepherd and she's really good at when I take her to my friend's house and fishing because she just wants to be with me. I just worry about her into stores because of her size and what people will say. Is it all right to take her into stores and what should I say to people? The what ifs, LOL.
Yeah. So, what breed? German Shepherd?
German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Yeah, German Shepherd. Yeah. And in training, a service dog in training. Um, So part of the in training piece with public access depends on your state. So I'm not sure what state you're in. About 2 years ago in Washington state, they gave service dogs in training the same public access rights as service dogs. I know Oregon is the same way. I'm not sure what other states are. So what you would need to do is check with your state, and not just state, because before it became that way in all of Washington, it was in King County, one large county in our area. King County had public access rights for service dogs in training, and then eventually that expanded across the entire state. So the first thing you would need to do is check that. I will say, if your dog is well behaved, and there is no requirement for them to wear a service dog vest. But if you put a service dog in training vest on your dog and go into like most grocery stores and stuff, in mo I mean, we've never really run into a problem. It's pretty rare that we have a problem. Restaurants are more stringent, but I've always had really good luck in grocery stores, even in areas that didn't have service dog and training rights. So I think you're okay. I think go in with confidence, and um know your two questions that they can ask. Is it a service dog, and what tasks are it trained for? And if you just be honest, and if they say that you can't have service dogs, say, all right, thank you, bye, and just, but be confident in yourself. If they're ready for it, if they're well trained, and they're doing a good job, and you're at that phase of your training, then I would say go for it and just go with confidence. But yeah, the what ifs, they're a killer, I know. All right. Any others I should answer now, or should I can move? We can go ahead. Actually, why don't we do this? If people have questions, go ahead and start putting them in there, and I'll go through a few more slides, and then we can stop and pause for a couple more questions. All right. I want to talk a little bit about our approach. When we say ACE, ACE stands for A Canine Experience. That is our business name. So how ACE trains service dogs. We train the tasking and the obedience parallel. A lot of times when I talk to people, they want to work on, getting their obedience training done, and doing all the public access stuff first, and then go back and doing tasking. But that isn't actually the most efficient way to train the service dogs, especially when it comes to the medical alert dogs. We actually start medical alert dogs imprinting on the odor the day we get them. If I can find a breeder who will start it before I take them, I'm in, right? I really do prefer that. So we start by building the foundations, right? Both basic commands, working on that relationship we talked about, doing again a lot of play, so that you're the center of your dog's attention. And then through play, we'll start building in some criteria around the play and teaching them some basic obedience commands, using play more as a reward. And the other thing we do is like I already stated, we start imprinting odors, and then we work on like guiding their natural tendencies. So I already touched on this with the retrieving, right? If the dog goes and picks up the shoe, I'm going to encourage them to bring it to me and trade for a toy that it can have, or a treat, or whatever. And I'm going to start building that bring it to me trade, even though the 1,000th time I've done it that day might be slightly annoying, right? But what I don't want to do is punish it, have it start playing catch me games, things like that. So guiding the natural tendencies. That's the same for when they're getting up on me and I don't want them to trample me. I help them at a very early age learn how to position their body on me, and start being more careful and things like that. Once the foundations are there, we start working on what we call the 3Ds. So duration, how long can they do it? Distance, how far away from us can they do it? And distraction, how much distraction can be present while they still do whatever it is that we're working on. So we're building the difficulty in those three areas. And then lastly is the generalization. So that's when we take the foundations that they're doing really well in more familiar places, and we start generalizing into new places like Home Depot or the dog, not the dog park, but a park with distractions around it. Just anywhere and everywhere, a parking lot, just the pet store, places like that. So we start generalizing it. So they learn that they need to do these behaviors, not just at home, not just in the backyard, um, but also everywhere that we go. Dogs by nature do not generalize well. So when you think that they understand something, they may understand it in that area or that context, but that doesn't mean that they understand it in a total different context. So let's talk about the dog itself. The dog itself changes the whole game, right? The dog changes what the um, chances of success, right? So we have developed a program that is designed to help stack your cards in your favor, starting from the selection process. So for people who are still choosing their dog, I know we had lots of people on here that already had dog by their side, which I love that. But there's a lot of people who are just at the beginning of their journey and don't have a dog yet. And that is actually not a bad place to be, because now you can really consider what you want and need in a dog, and we can help you determine that. And so we have 3 levels of support. I've done a couple presentations. One is on choosing a puppy, and the other is on genetics and behavior. And they walk you through the genetics that impact the behavior of the dog, what to look for in a puppy or a rescue dog, how to do a puppy temperament testing, um, how to research breeders. It talks about health testing, and how to understand the health testing. So all of that is in what we call the self-guided course. So it's an online program that has all the information that you go through on your own. It does include a 30-minute lesson, private lesson with me, so that I can actually give you some personal one-on-one guidance on how to get started. And then there's the middle tier. It's $497. That's one-time charge. And this has the course. I also, in the course, there are some booklets to help you. So, let's see, there's the health and genetic testing companion guide that walks you through the tests, and so you can understand them. There is choosing the right puppy, so the program on how to select the puppy itself with the temperament testing score sheets and booklet. And then it has a training journal to help you get started. And so that is all included in the supported, as well as group coaching calls twice a month that you can get on. Their live coaching calls where you can get on and ask questions and get feedback. And there's also a community group. So in between those coaching calls, you can get on and ask questions in the community group as well. So the coaching calls are twice a month, right? So every other week. So in the interim, you can get on to the group and ask some questions as well. And then there's the Done With You. That is supported all the way, one-on-one guidance. We'll get on the phone with you, with the breeders, help you interview them. We'll perform a puppy temperament test, and if you're doing a rescue rather than a puppy, we'll help you do the evaluations, some rescue evaluations as well. So that has, of course, everything included in self-guided and supported, as well as that one-on-one hand holding. So you can pick what tier works well for you. And let's see, did I miss anything? I guess with that being said, this would be a good time to stop and ask another question and me get a drink of water.
A major question that's getting asked repetitively a lot is, can an adult dog be started trade for service dog?
Yeah, definitely, they can. There are some considerations, the natural, like if it does the dog have a good solid temperament to start with, and what basic training has been done, even if not a lot of basic training's been done, but it's a super palatable dog and learns easily and well, and it's really confident and does well in the environment, and it's still healthy. And yeah, definitely, like I just worked with somebody a couple weeks ago, and they're starting with an older dog. um Generally what I would consider older, I think under 5 is that, if they're healthy and they've had a good start already and they're a good confident dog, definitely you could get a lot of help out of them for a good duration of time. But when you start getting above that, then I start questioning a little more. But I did work with one, I believe they were like 6 or 7, but the people had already been taking them, like traveling with them. They'd been on the airport, they'd been in public transportation, they already were taking them. I don't think I mentioned earlier, but breweries are a great place to go train dogs because they're generally dog friendly. And they'd done a ton of stuff, and it already had like a good level of basic obedience, and it had naturally already started doing some of the tasks that they needed. And so yeah, definitely that Kate was an exception to um the rule as far as age goes. So you got to consider each dog individually on that. And yeah, do either of you have anything to add to that one?
No, but another real common one is breeds. Some people are asking about Great Pyrenees, Great Danes, Connie Corsos, things like that. So I think that would be good to explain like the puppy pathways and how, I mean, I guess that's a good time to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, breed, any there are definitely breeds that are more suited to it than not, but there is exceptions to every rule. So again, you got to consider that. I know a lot of people who do mobility look at larger breeds like Great Danes and Mastiffs, and I know a gal who's trained 3 Mastiffs for herself for mobility work successfully. But you have to be really careful early on. This is where, yeah, the puppy pathways and the puppy temperament testing really comes into play. And um basically, we really have to look at the genetic traits of the bloodlines to start with, as well as looking at the individual traits of the puppy. If you're starting with an older dog, like a rescue, and you find one, oftentimes they're a mix. And again, we're just going to have to look at that specific personality. But there are ways to test that, and see if they have the natural tendencies. So yeah, breed, there's definitely reasons to stick with some of the more common breeds, but it there's an exception to every rule. So, but we are trying to stack our odds in our favor, right? And so that's a big consideration for sure. But we have to look at what your needs are as well and why you're choosing that particular breed, and then do a good job on selection.
Here's
So
a
good.
great question about puppies, and only having their first round of vaccines, and how do you get them properly socialized but keep them safe, when the vet says that they can't even touch the grass?
Well, we take them out in wagons and strollers because the diseases that affect the puppies the most severely live in the ground. And so we take them out, and we have a wagon and a stroller in our shed that we take them out in, and we have hand sanitizer. So if people do come up and say hi to them, we have them use the hand sanitizer. I have wet wipes for their feet if I do have to put them down, but I try not to. But if I do have to, I definitely I don't go in a busy area, right? So we mitigate the risk of them catching something if you've mitigated the risk well. Like I said, keeping them off the ground, especially off of the soil and grasses. Um, far outweigh the risks of your dog not being properly socialized and exposed early on behaviorally. So, all right. Well, those are some good questions. Let's go keep moving because I do not want to keep people here way longer than what I said, trying to be respectful of everybody's time. All right. So this is the main program, what we've been working on building, the ACE Hybrid Service Dog Training Program. It's a 12-month structured program that includes live coaching and an online community. So we're with you along the way as well as the other people who joined the community. There's so much always to learn from one another as well as dog trainers, right? So the way that it works is there are 3 tracks. So you can choose 1, 2, or all 3 tracks, and each track is focused on its own set of things. Anyway, so there's a medical alerting track, and that's for people like with diabetes, seizures, POTS, migraines, Crohn's, things that you have a physiological change in your body, and the dogs are alerting you to the onset of it. That's going to be the medical alerting track. The general tasking track is going to be a lot of your retrieval type stuff, your pressure therapy, interrupting. Like I'm a nail biter. I need to train my dog to come make me stop when I start, biting my nails, come over and nudge me. She does come over and nudge me if I get upset, and that really helps, but haven't taught her to do it with my nail biting yet. So those types of things are interruption, grounding, some mobility stuff. It can be like counter, um, uh, and I lost my word, but I'll come back to it. Anyway,
Counterbalance.
counterbalance. Thank you. Yes, I don't know why I couldn't think of balance for a moment there. It just slipped right out of my head. That's why I have a Jenny right there. Okay. Uh, so a lot of people can be helped, who have PTSD and anxiety by the interrupting and grounding type tasking. So that will be, especially the general tasking will be a work in progress. We will keep adding to that work. We don't have it on there yet, but we've started like on opening door and closing doors and cabinets and just some different things like that. So we'll definitely continue building the general tasking track, especially as people come in and have certain needs. So that's the cool thing about this. If you come in and we don't have it yet, we can work on it and add it, right? So that's part of the fun of it. And then the third track is the public access track. So that's for people who need help getting their dogs ready for that public access, whether it be, just around the house or around the neighborhood, or if you're a big traveler like me and you need to work into the airports and public transportation and things like that. As part of the public access, we also have a canine fitness track because we do a lot of work with our dogs, and this will help with the longevity. And so we have built some canine fitness, really simple, easy, but effective canine fitness exercises into that public access track. One of the things to consider is like stairs, going up and down stairs for dogs is really difficult to go slowly. They like to charge up and down them because it's easier on them. So the fitness, some of the fitness is designed to help with things like that, like going up and down the stairs, slowly and collected. So let's see, moving on. So what's included? Everything you need in one place. We have the monthly lessons. So each month you'll get a new curriculum released. We want to give you enough so that you can keep working at your own pace, but we don't want to give you too much where we overwhelm you. We also want to be sure that you're spending the time so that you're not pushing things along, because if we don't build a good foundation, things will fall out from underneath us later on. So a lot of times I'm one of those, I like to rush, but you got to slow it down and make sure that the dogs really understand. And not just at home, in a variety of environments. And so that's what really takes some of the time. The live coaching. So there's 2 calls per month for the tasking and 2 calls per month for the public access. So there's 4 live calls per month. And then there's We already talked about the 3 training tracks, the medical alerting, general tasking, and public access. So you can choose 1, 2, or all 3 tracks. And then there's the private community. So this is where you can upload videos, share with each other, get feedback. We'll be watching it and giving feedback to people as well, but you can get feedback from your peers and also make friends with other people walking the same path that you are. All right. So I talked about the course being 1 year long, and the course is broken down into a 1 year course, but the realistic timeline for most dogs is 18 months to 2 years to reach a reliable working level, right? Do they start maybe alerting you 6 months to a year in? Yeah, sometimes it happens, right? But are they reliable in a new public place with lots of distractions? Yeah, probably not. Some rare dogs definitely are, right? Every dog is different. So we're not going to just drop you after 1 year. We have, after that first year, an alumni support program. So you can continue the community access and you can continue coming to the live coaching calls for as long as you need until you can graduate. So we do offer an internal certification, and I do want to be very clear about this. There are no certification requirements in the US, right? The ADA does not require you have any sort of certification, nor do they provide any sort of certification. Okay. So what we're providing is an internal certification that shows that you have met our criteria. Our criteria does exceed the ADA criteria. For public access, according to the ADA, they can ask 2 questions. Is the dog required for disability? And what task is it trained to perform? You do not have, they cannot ask you show an ID. They cannot require that your dog wears a vest. They cannot have you ask that you demonstrate the task. That is not legal. They can only ask those 2 questions. So where our certification can help is with housing. They can ask for documentation like from your doctor. And while we're not the doctor, the proof from a trainer just strengthens your accommodations. And that's the same for employment. They fall under a separate rules as well. And they can also ask for documentation. And having documentation of the training will support that case to help you get those workplace accommodations. But where we really see it benefit people the most is when they do air travel. They have their own set of rules, and they do have you fill out a DOT form, and they do ask about training, who trained your dog, where it's from. I will be straightforward. You can put yourself down as a trainer, and that is totally legal and legit. But they do, if you put us down as a trainer, they do call us and they do ask for that verification, and we will back you. I've backed people flying all over the country where their laws were different than ours, and that was very challenging. And so, well, what I'm talking about is US laws. If you're doing international travel, you got to be really careful and research before you go at each place and what their requirements are. So once you have met the criteria and demonstrated their tasking capabilities with us and have passed our public access test, we will actually give you that certification. But some dogs don't do well in public, but they can still do a lot at home. So we have our ACE home support dog, which we can still help train a dog that's suitable in the home. I have one client who the main need was overnight alertings for low blood sugars, and the dog had some reactivity problems, and so it wasn't suitable for service work, but the dog was still able to be trained to do overnight alerts, and it actually worked better because if the dog had been active going to work with him all day long, the dog would have been really tired at the end of the day and been in a deep sleep overnight. But because he was home sleeping all day long, he slept lighter at night and was more able to do that overnight job. So if you have a dog that just doesn't do well in public, but they're still good in a home, can help with medical alerting, retrieval, pressure therapy. My husband's dog actually does interrupts nightmares for him, and reminders. There's all sorts of things they can do home based. And so we do have that option. We can still help you with that, and we'll give you a home support dog certificate. And that can still help with, like the housing and that type of thing, where the emotional support dogs actually even have some protection in the housing. So that is one option. Um, all right, so I'm going to get into the pricing and stuff here, but let's go ahead and just stop for a minute again and see if there's any new questions that have popped up. I need another drink of water too.
We're getting a lot of people asking about having multiple service dogs.
Multiple service dogs for one person or for different people in the house. I guess it doesn't necessarily matter.
For one person, like
Mhm.
one was about having multiple dogs out as service dogs, and the other one was more about having a service dog now and a service dog in training.
Yeah, that one's super common. A lot of people, that's very common as your dog's starting to age out, that you start a new dog, and that's totally legitimate. As far as taking multiple dogs out at the same time as service dog, I don't know. I don't know that there's necessarily any rule against that. That's a good question that I would have to dig deeper into. I do know other people who have multiple service dogs. Well, they have multiple dogs, but then they get taught different tasks because they're just naturally better at different things. Like, I can think of one person who has one dog that's really good in home and helps her a lot in the home, and then another dog that is better out in public and helps her in different ways out in public. More with the social stuff in public, and then the other dog in the home is really good with, like, retrieval and just, doing some of that stuff as well. So yeah, definitely starting a second dog before your first dog can't work anymore is a smart choice, if you were trying to prevent having a gap. Hopefully that helps answer the question, aside from the one I don't fully know the answer to. Any others that keep popping up?
A lot of them are wondering, like all this, the slideshow and everything, will that be emailed to them or links? They're kind of
Yeah,
wondering. Okay.
yep, absolutely. And I'm gonna have to apparently um, add those links in. Because yeah, well, like I said, first time doing webinar, I didn't realize that was going to be a problem. So yeah, I will send that out. Let's see. All right. Moving on, unless there's another one that
Yeah.
I should answer.
Can you cover, a lot of people are asking about specific issues with their dogs with behavior training and how we would mitigate and help them through that in the beginning?
Yeah, that's a good question. So with the program, each program, I was just getting into that a little bit here. We will be doing a service dog evaluation when and so you can also, so if you're not sure if your dog's a good candidate, then we do have an evaluation, and we do have a option for a half off with a code for generally it's 150, and it'll be $75 with that code. And so we can really take a deep look into your dog and how we can best help you. We do have a program, a more general program for people where we can look into helping with some of that stuff, behavior problems. I mean, that's such a wide range of what somebody might be going through. That's a very hard question to answer, but we have to look at each case individually. And I guess the bottom line and the answer to that question is that's what the evaluation would be for. Um, but we are experienced with behavior problems. The question becomes, can they overcome whatever it is you're going through to work well as a service dog? And then again, it depends on your goals and needs of what you need from a service dog. So we have to look at all of those things and then determine how we can best help you. Not trying to avoid the question, but that's just how it is.
Here's a question about someone who's interested in taking all 3 courses. Would I only have 1 year to finish all 3 of them?
No, you'll maintain access to the online courses. And if you wanted to continue with the support, the coaching calls and the community support, then we have an alumni program that you could jump into. That I'll get into prices here in just a moment. I'll have I think it's on the next screen actually. We can talk through that. All right. So yeah, so today is our official launch, and I appreciate you bearing with me. I know I've made a lot of mistakes getting here, and but people have been so supportive of what we're doing, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. It keeps me motivated to do it because I know that I'm on the right path and there's people that really can use this and need us. And so it keeps me up, literally up at night working, if you know me. Um, so we're calling the people who join us today pack leaders. So we have pack leader launch pricing, and what we're offering is 15% off any track configuration, and that's for the life of your program. So if we have 2 options, we have monthly and annual. So if you do the monthly, that's every month you save that 15%, not just the people who sign up annually. We're including the service dog evaluation. So once you sign up, then you'll get some messaging so you can go ahead and set up your service dog evaluation. There, we're also including, I talked about the alumni program after the 12 months. So we're going to offer 2 free months of that. So it'll be 14 months rather than the 12 months. Like I said, after the 12 months, you'll still have access to the course. It's the coaching calls and the community that will be in the alumni program. And then we also offer 30-day guarantee. So if you get into it and we're like, yeah, it's just not right, it's just not the right dog, that's okay, right? We will work it out with you. Maybe we'll advise you into a different program, or we'll work it out. So there is a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. So for the 15% off, when you check out, you'll need to use this lead 15, and that lead, LEAD, needs to be capitalized or it won't work. I tested that. All right, let's get into the pricing here. So what's the investment? The ACE Hybrid Service Dog Course, you can choose 1, 2, or all 3 tracks. And the single track is $149 a month. So that would be the medical alerting or the general tasking or the public access. You can pay for the year, and you'll save, basically you get 2 months free if you pay for the year. And that's with all the tracks. You can also choose 2 tracks. That can be any combination of the 3 out of the 3. And again, it's $229 per month for a year, or $22.97 if you pay for the whole year. Again, you get 2 months free. Or you can do the 3-track option, which is obviously all 3 of the tracks, and it is $299 a month or $29.97 for the year. Again, saving that 15%, but also you're going to save an additional 15% with your lead 15 code today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. You have the 2 paths. You have your ACE Hybrid Service Dog Program, and you have your Puppy Pathways path. You're going to find the information. This is the link that you need to go to, which I had planned on having Jenny put into the chat. But seeing how we don't have a chat apparently, that right, I guess go ahead and write that down, and it will also be in the follow-up email. It takes a while for me to process the webinar, and so once that gets processed, I will go ahead and shoot that over into your email for you to do the watch. But yeah, go ahead and copy that link now, and you can go there and find the different options that you can select, and make sure you put in that code LEAD 15 with capital LEAD.
You can also screenshot your phone and then copy the link that way. Trina, can you speak to if there's several questions about veterans and as well as PTSD or psychiatric support dogs?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, and not a specific, just kind of general. Are they
Yeah,
asking about the
there's
legitimacy of psychiatric
What they
alert
can do
dogs?
to help.
What they can do
yeah.
to help?
Hmm.
Yeah, there's lots of things that are pretty common. What we do is we sit with each person and determine what's going to be best for them, right? Like what do they need? What makes them feel good? What's helpful to them? But very common ones are interruptive like if you start like I said, I talked about like my nail biting. So that to me is when I get anxious and nervous and stuff like that. So a lot of people, as we're starting to have maybe some social anxiety or any type of anxiety, our bodies are going to do things that the dogs can pick up on. So looking at what we do, then we can teach the dog to come over and like distract us. So they'll kind of nudge and push at us and distract us, and that interrupts us and makes us think about something else. And then it's proven scientifically that petting your dog from like the long stroke, head to tail strokes, lowers your blood pressure, brings down your anxiety. Well, the petting the dog isn't considered a task itself. The coming over and nudging and interrupting you is considered a task. We could also, if we're feeling nervous, we could have the dog come stand by us. One thing my dog does that really helps me, she comes, I don't even have to call her over if I'm stressed. She's very, very in tune to me. But even if she's not, I can have her come over and lean, and she'll like lean up against my leg, and then I start petting her. But that like pressure and that contact really helps alleviate my stress and anxiety. Another thing is, well, that is a form of pressure therapy, but there's also deep pressure therapy where they can come up, and I have one dog I'm training. He's so good at pressure therapy. If I'm sitting in my lounge chair, I'll have him come up between, and he'll put like his head on my chest and lay his chest on my belly. And that's really comforting. I also can have him come across my lap, especially if I'm sitting like at a restaurant or something in a chair where, right, I can have him come up across my lap. Or sometimes I'll just have him come up between my legs and lay the head on my legs. So, there's different things that feel good, and there's different things that are more suitable in different environments and situations. And so as far as pressure therapy goes, there's a lot of ways that can be performed. Like if I'm laying in bed, I like them to do their full body alongside of me. This little guy, I was going to say little guy, but he's actually pretty big now. He will actually come and lay with his full body on his side on top of me and do a super press into me and do very deep pressure. And so everybody likes something a little different. But other things that they can do is tactile stimulation type, like licking and stuff. Again, that kind of goes to interruptive, but the tactile licking, I don't prefer that myself, but that can be really helpful, um, for a lot of people. They can help with some mobility. A lot of veterans have injuries and stuff, and so they can help with mobility by picking things up if you drop something, retrieval work. One common one that a lot of people I've worked with like is kind of blocking, like keeping people at a distance. People with social
What about
anxiety. Go ahead.
what about training dogs to find people? Is that a task
Yeah.
that
Oh, that brings me to another big one that a lot of people with PTSD and veterans really like is clearing a room, right? We can send them to go in to check a room to make sure it's clear, right? There are so many things. What else? One of you,
I
what
know?
about Andrea, you step in.
Someone
What am I
said
forgetting?
someone this is a great question because I always think of questions after the fact, like, oh, I should have asked that, right? So
Yeah,
someone said,
me too.
how should we contact you when I have questions later?
Yes, that
Text,
was the one.
text us
Text, okay,
360-488
488.
0639.
One of the other things is how long is the lead 15, the discount code? How long is that good for? Because like one person, they said they don't have their dog yet, or other, just wanting to know kind of how long they have.
And can the
Um,
pack leader pricing be locked in if you don't have your dog yet? That's a
Yeah,
common
that
question
one.
too.
yeah. Well, so that would be a puppy pathways, right? If you don't have your dog yet, you go into puppy pathways, and then yes, we would lock in the pricing when you started the um actual online course, the actual training course. So if you're looking for your dog, definitely getting into puppy pathways will save you a lot of time, money, and heartbreak. Um, you know, unless you already have like one selected and you're just waiting, then hopefully it's the right one or a good
And
one.
then if people have a dog and they want to do the evaluation, you said earlier there's an offer for the Zoom eval, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So if you schedule the Zoom eval and use the code eval50, so capital E V as in Victor, AL, and the number 50, it'll give you half off.
Okay.
Yep. And then
And this information will be emailed out as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Cool.
there's an email already set up. I'm like, what's in it? I don't think that the eval code is in there yet. I think that comes out later, but I
Okay.
can. But you can message me and we can get you set up and figured
Mhm.
out. Yeah, you can do the texting to get a hold of us. And so the lead 15, well, it was supposed to just be for today, but seeing how we can't get the link in there, um, we'll give a couple days. So that way people who watch the recording. So I think I will set it to Thursday, give a couple days since we can't get the link in there for people. But they can copy this and go to it right now and get that set up.
Okay. And then also, yeah, we're not able to get to everybody's questions because they were just kind of
There's
coming
so
through really
many. Yeah.
fast, which is
Yeah.
awesome. But we tried. You can always again text that number
What
with your
program would you
questions.
suggest for mobility? Medical alert,
The general tasking.
general tasking. Okay,
Yep, general
thank you.
tasking for sure.
Yep. And just to reiterate, if your question didn't get answered, like Andrea said, there was lots of them. We did our best to kind of group them together and find the commonalities. But everyone get your phone out and text us 360-488-0639 if you have any questions. Thank you so much for being here. What else, Trina?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've already kept people way past the time we were supposed to.
Of course.
Um,
Yep.
so I mean, unless there's one other like really good question that stands out, let's go ahead and tie it up and yeah.
Oh, someone asked if they could use their GI Bill, a veteran.
Oh.
I'm not
I
sure
like
on
that
that
I
one.
question.
don't, yeah, I
I
am
like
not
that
sure.
question.
That they might have to talk to a rep that handles the GI Bill and um, see if that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to do whatever it takes to help you get that done, but I don't know the answer to that question. But that would be really cool
Yeah. Right?
if you could get help that way. That would be a great resource for people, for sure.
That would.
I like
Is
it.
this program ADI accredited? I don't know what's ADI.
No, to be ADI accredited, you have to be a nonprofit, and we are not a nonprofit. Maybe at some time in our future that will make sense, but when we looked at it previously, it did not make sense because we have a long track history with the business that we have. And so, so no, it is not, unfortunately. But if we ever do start it as a nonprofit, we will pursue that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Someone wants
Oh.
to know, is there another way to ask questions instead of texting?
Yes, they could set up an intro call with me.
I'm looking to see if I can find, I don't
Oh,
see
I'll find the
it.
link really quick.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you can set up an intro call. I do a free 15-minute intro call. You can email as well. It's not my preference, but you can.
Info at
AK9.com.
acanine.com.
Yeah.
It said the
You go through the
marijuana.
VA for
I don't know how I got
assistance
there.
for veterans and service dogs. They help. That's what someone said. Oops.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so email is info@acanine.com. It's spelled out. So you see at the top of the screen where it says acanine.com, info at that is our email. Again, we prefer the texting, which is 360-488-0639. Or you can go, if you know what you want to do, you can go directly to that page and get yourself signed up using that code LEAD15. And yeah, if you do have any other questions, like I said, feel free to either schedule an intro call with us, or just text us directly. I want to thank you all for being here, and I hope you at least learned something new while you were here. Okay. There's 4:11. We kept you way past time, so we're going to go ahead and call it quits. Thank you so much.